So I know it's Friday, but today's really a Tuesday in bowl week preparation. So our guys came out yesterday. We actually were practicing at UCF, absolutely awesome facility. So we were able to get kind of a walkthrough and got a little lift and conditioning with them yesterday. And then today whopped out and we kind of did what would be a normal Tuesday practice. Thought it was really good tempo, good energy. Everybody was out there practice. Seth Coleman even practiced today. To get him back out there was pretty awesome. Really can't think of anybody else. Everybody else is good to go. I don't think there's any limits. Obviously, Pat Bryant's not here. Actually, Pat will be here tomorrow, I think, but won't practice. But so from a health standpoint, pretty good, pretty clean day. I really like their tempo, attitude. Actually, tonight they're taking a little Fogo de Chao, a little all-you-need Brazilian joint, and I think they're going to the Magic game tonight. Tomorrow is Universal Studios for them, allows them to kind of get a balance of that, and it's been really fun. Have a lot of Orlando guys, obviously Dennis Briggs, got a couple guys that are from the Orlando area, have over 20 players from Florida, so it's pretty awesome. With that, open it up.
Coach, how big would it be to get that 10th win historically and just for your program's
progress? I think
progress?
to get to 10 wins is a big deal in college football. No matter how it comes about, what plays into it, I think anytime you can get to that mark, I've been able to do that a couple times as head coach. I think that sets your team apart from college football, to be honest. So to be on the verge of it at 9 and trying to get to 10th, but really just to get a win against South Carolina to play an SEC team, I would say that these guys are probably playing as good as anybody in the SEC at the end of the year to win those last 6 games. Absolutely dynamic player on offense. Our quarterback is very gifted. I have a lot of really explosive playmakers around him. And then on defense, just obviously another one ends out, but overall very different defense than what we see in the Big Ten. I think it's a very good challenge for our guys. I think they're psyched and wired into it.
Obviously, the junior college ruling would seem to open the door possibly for J.C. Davis. Have you guys had any conversations, or how long have you been preparing for that possibility?
Well, when that ruling came through, obviously the Vandy quarterback, that kind of put everybody on high alert status. I literally hopped on a plane on Sunday night and flew to my day before Christmas was spent in Oakland, California. Met with JC and his family. I flew out there and did a recruiting pitch to him and showed him what we think the value of him is and what he could do in our program, especially with this bonus year. And I thought it was something that, I don't know if anybody else in college football did that, but I think we wanted to let him know exactly what we thought of him, but also kind of give him a lot of education on it. Just changed literally overnight. Here's a guy that was playing in the Senior Bowl and thought he was playing in his last college football game, and now he has a chance for a whole nother year. So him and Zai both obviously will have that opportunity. The guys that are on our football team that are JC players, it only applied to the guys who are done with eligibility. So had a good conversation with Zai. I kind of had a feeling this year with the split time that what was going on, he would look for another opportunity. So what we've done with him compared to other guys, he's playing in the bowl game, expect him to play a lot, play very, very well, and then we'll help him find a home, and I offered up my help to help him any way I can.
What has JC meant to you guys this year at that primary position?
It's a great, you always say this, if you're never talking about your left tackle, it's a good thing, right? He just literally just does what he's supposed to do. I thought the last half of the season, the way he played and the way he kind of engaged in the way we were doing things, it really took his play to a different level. And then ironically, when I went to the house, it was obviously the December 22nd or 23rd, whatever it was. I was just in his house a year ago in January, on January 4th, and to have that picture in my mind of what he was like then when he first came in the door, his before and after a year with us is incredible. So another great indication of what our program can do, and he's taking full advantage of it.
Is there a timing element of all of this that you guys are pursuing some other options, obviously?
Yeah, I think, these guys, that especially doing their eligibility, they, obviously Pat opted out, right? But so he kind of went into training mode. I think the rest of these guys that were seniors, right, as soon as they're done, they literally usually go start training for the combine or doing that next step for them overall. I told them there's no, expiration date. We're not a milk carton in the fridge, right? Like, as you make your decision, that's your decision when you're going to do it. But it also opened up a whole other world of portal guys. I know there was a certain conference that was trying to stop it, I think, because, they've already spent the money they're going to spend on guys, and now it opens up a whole other world of guys that are eligible for a portal. So it's really kind of an interesting time.
The Wisconsin trio guys that you've actually had signed, ready to go for next year, how excited are you about bringing in those guys and having Terrence be able to coach?
All of them are kind of a little different story. So Leon, actually, I remember last year when I saw him get in the portal, I knew what Syracuse was doing, so I actually kind of watched him on film, and then he quickly jumped in the Wisco boat. But I had actually watched his film, so I knew about him a year ago. So he was a little bit different. As soon as I saw his name pop up, we were on him pretty quickly. We knew we wanted to sign one kind of kind of a Seth Coleman type guy, right? A Fox type. So I went pretty hard on him. He came in probably one of the first ones to visit. And then with James and Kurt, two guys that I remember game playing against them, and I remember watching them and kind of seeing how they played. Now, back when they were playing under Jimmy's system, right, they played a system that was very similar to ours, so it was kind of easy to see some of that stuff play out. I like Kurt, just think he's a very dynamic player. He's kind of a little bit T-Raj in the fact that he's kind of worked his way into that position and maybe wasn't all this, all that coming out. And then, for me, James was just really a dynamic, explosive. He's got what I call those country strong hands. He's actually a Cincinnati kid, but when I first started talking to him, I'm like, dude, I love the way you play with your hands. I love to play with the intensity. And then he was a guy a year ago had a draft grade, right, that was possibly going to forego a year of going in the draft. So really went after him pretty hard, and I think J-Mo and I kind of made a mark on when they came in and saw how we did things and what we do and how we play it. All three of them were very unique because they all came in at different times, but all of them had their own kind of thing that they were looking for. I know there's a tie to Wisconsin, but all of them, I think, kind of came here for their own specific reasons.
You guys have kind of reloaded up front. You needed to, obviously, but what does that group bring to you, and especially with the defense and all the...
Well, I think first, can't lose sight of the guy. Alex Bret, in my opinion, has had a tremendous growth this year, so really excited about him and what he brought. And then some of those other guys just were able to kind of fill in. Pat Farrell continued to do some very, very good things. I'm excited to see Alec Bryant. I kind of challenged him, especially when we didn't know if Seth was going to play. Alec Bryant, in my opinion, Northwestern played extremely good. That was the best football I've seen him play. It was the first role that he had as a starter, so that was really pretty awesome to see him take that step forward and see where he can go. Obviously, Gabe and X got some things they're still rolling through, but both those guys are playing the game. We're kind of just helping them through that process too. But we have a chance on offense and defense if we get the right guys in at the right positions, I think, to be pretty special.
I want to ask you about Tomiwa too. What's he bring to that group?
Yeah, Tomiwa? He was another guy I saw a year ago when he was at West Virginia. He was at Kentucky, so I'd called Stoopsy about him. And then when he was at West Virginia going to Florida State, we tried to get in the mix there. Again, probably a different type of end, but they actually played him inside at Florida State, and I think it's a little bit of a hybrid of both. So he's a guy I'm excited because he's got 2 years of eligibility and very athletic kid.
Punters are people too. You've got 2 punters in the portal, but are you satisfied with what you have with Breezy going into next year?
Yeah, I kind of knew Declan.
Are you in the portal world for a specialist?
Yeah, Declan was a guy that we brought in. He wasn't on scholarship. He was a guy that we had kind of talked about coming in and doing what we needed to do, and it wasn't surprising to me. I went to have a conversation with him right after the season. I knew it hadn't gone as well as he had maybe hoped. So I said, hey, anything I can do to help you get where you need to be? And so I thought that one was coming. Hugh, we had kind of decided all year long he was moving on. I knew he had a year of eligibility, so really no surprise there. Breezy will be our punter in a bowl game, but I think 2 other kickers in our program, David Alano and Child, those guys I think are pretty set on where we're at. But I would say that for us, we are still exploring a portal world in a punter world.
You had a wide receiver, Bret and Justin. What's he bring to you, and how's your pitch at that position in the portal changed?
So J-Bo was actually at Eastern Illinois, right? Kind of crazy, and then obviously had success in the MAC conference. Very tall, athletic, really dynamic kid. Really excited about on film what we saw with him, and came in, was a good fit for us. Really liked what he had done on film. Had talked a lot with Eastern Illinois. They obviously didn't want to lose him, and neither did Ball State, right? Ball State. So those guys, I think anytime you're leaving a place and the coaches speak highly of you, it gets me excited. And I think in this portal world, what we want to do is, I always tell these guys, I don't mind getting a little surprised. We just can't get, hit over the head with a billy club, right? So I really wanted to know who these guys are and where they are and what they were. And the reports have been awesome. His mom and dad came to town, were really, really good people. They're actually from Miami Northwestern. They actually had went to school with Cox brothers, right? And so just crazy kind of connections and put all that together. And I'm excited to get where he is.
How's the reception been here in Orlando from the Citrus Bowl?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. My first ever bowl game was the Capital One Bowl back in the day in 2006, and Steve Hogan is the executive director. He and I came in as rookies that year. I was a rookie head coach. He's a rookie executive director. So now to come full circle, both of us married and have a couple kids, it's kind of a different world, different outlook. But the people here have always been awesome. The city's been awesome. The way they take care of us. This hotel is absolutely just ideal for our guys and the layout and the spacing, and there it is. So I think to have Orlando this time of year, sometimes you get to these bowl games and maybe the destination cities aren't as great as you would hope, but these people here in Orlando, and I think that we got a special day coming on a Thursday. That's the day when we meet up with the kids that give back to the community, and the way our kids are kind of wired, I think it'll be a really special day.
What's this mean for this team, Brett? I know you had a team 2 years ago win games and go to a bowl like this, but what's it mean for this team, especially guys like Aiden, Matthew, been part of this?
You know, so literally today on a bus ride over to the stadium, I get another text from Mike Maziarz, our academic advisor, and our kids now 4 straight semesters have set an academic record, right? We have really smart kids who I think are good kids. The bowl people, when they're around our players, they talk about just the way our kids are engaged with them and the way they interact. And I don't think all that stuff happens by chance. You know, I'm not saying I got a bunch of choir boys that sing Kumbaya every night, right? But I do think we have good kids that like the game. They like being around it. They have really, you know, today was our 8th practice, bowl practice, and I mean, they were flying around, good tempo, great energy. I had a meeting this morning that I walked out of that I was just incredibly excited to be a part of that room with them. This is a really fun group. Just overall, just the energy they bring. So I think to have a special place in Illinois football history with this group, I think is pretty cool. I also have been selling, obviously 10 wins is a big deal, but the catapult that this could be into 2025 is I think a team that we would not shy away from. This is a team that we would hope would be a playoff type team, right? And the chemistry that we have and the unique players that we have, if we can get all these guys to come back, would be pretty special.
With the history of the program, there has been opportunities like this along the way. 84, 2007, and then the bowl game didn't quite go the way they thought it was going to go. Is it important to get this just to catapult the program
Well, I think
forward?
The only people that really know that are people that are fanatics, right? Like, I appreciate what you're saying, but I don't know that, right? I know it because I've been here, but like I don't live it, right? Like all I've worried about, I do care about what's happened in the past, but I don't care. Like it's probably a hard thing to describe as a head coach. I'm very respectful of everything that's happened in the past. I love when former players come here and all that stuff. I'm very respectful of everything that's been built to come here, but I also think we've been weighted down by the past, right? Like people always want to go back to what it used to be. Like, hey, there's a new day, right? Come in front, go forward, right? I knew we wanted to build it in a way to get out here, right, and get ourselves in this position. Obviously, you know, to think that today happened just overnight is you know, obviously a very hard concept to process, right? But I'm excited. Is there things that we can do better? Absolutely. I think in this world that's being created right now in college football, it's an unprecedented time. I've never been in a position as a head coach. I've been in some great programs, but now the parity that's in college football, and if we can get to a place that everybody's kind of on the same wheelhouse as far as salary and not salary, but like player portal or the money that's available, right? It's a salary cap, however you want to cut it, right? So like this year, I think we finished 5th in the league, and I know the 4 teams that played above us, I think we're all in a 15 million plus cap range, right? Or a 20 million, on some of them are in 25 million, and we're literally right at 5 million. So there's 3 or 4 teams that are after us that were, you know, 2 or 3 times more salary than we had for players. So I think to get a level playing field is a really awesome time to be to.
Thank you, guys.